sense in sharing this one and only life. Ending up just another lost and lonely wife. You count up the years and they will be filled with tears. Love only breaks up to start over again. You'll get the babies, but you won't have your man. While he's busy loving every woman that he can. Say I'm gonna leave 100 times a day. It's easier said than done when you just can't break away. Oh, young hearts, run free. You'll never be hung up like my man and me. My man and me. Oh, young hearts, to yourself be true. Don't be no fool when love really don't love you. Don't love you. It's high time now, just one crack at life. Who wants to live it in trouble and strife? My mind must be free to learn all I can about me. I'm gonna love him for the rest of my days. Encourage the babies every time they sing. Self-preservation is what's really going on today. Say I'm gonna turn loose 1,000 times a day. But how can I turn loose when I just can't break away? Oh, young hearts, run free. They'll never be hung up like my man and me. You and me. Oh, young hearts, to yourself be true. Don't be no fool when love really don't love you. Don't love you. They'll never be hung up like my man and me. My man and me. Oh, your heart, to yourself be true. Don't be no fool when love really don't love you. Don't love you. Oh, your heart, run free. They'll never be hung up like my man and me. My man and me. Oh, your heart, to yourself be true. Don't be no fool when love really don't love you.
Well, I hope that came out okay. I'm not so sure if it did. So, I guess I got some breaking news. I got some interesting information. I'm just going to get right to it. Let us see. According to People magazine, there's an article, and the title is Inside Janet Jackson's Painful Divorce. Star was verbally abused and felt like a prisoner in her home, brother claims. Janet Jackson's older brother, Stephen Randy Jackson, claims that his sister suffered verbal abuse and felt like a prisoner in her own home during her marriage to London-based Qatari businessman Wissam Al-Mana. Man's attorney issued a statement saying he will not be responding to the particular and deeply hurtful allegations to people exclusively. The former Jackson five-star 55 says enough is enough as he opens up for the first time about what he says is a troubling situation for the superstar singer. There's a lot of pain. Janet's been through a lot with her divorce. I've been through a lot. We all have, says Randy, referring to Janet's ongoing divorce and custody battle with Almana, 42. The pair, who wed in 2012 and welcomed son Issa on January 3rd, have been in London court since April when the star confirmed their split in a video she shot with Randy at her side. Yes, I separated from my husband, the 51-year-old said during the clip posted to Twitter in April, which also announced she'd be resuming her State of the World tour. She had postponed the tour due to her pregnancy. She continued, "We are in court now, and the rest is in God's hands." As for what led to the divorce, Randy, who has attended court proceedings with Janet, draws a stark picture of his sister's life with Almana towards the end of their relationship. It was quite an abusive situation, Randy claims. It came on later in the relationship, and being made to feel like a prisoner in her own home. No pregnant woman needs to go through being called a bitch every day. Things, there were things like that. That's what she went through. In a statement released to People, attorneys for Almana say Mr. Almana is not going to dignify these particular and deeply hurtful allegations with a response. The breakdown of his marriage to Janet Jackson is a cause of great sadness to Mr. Almana, and it is the well-being and privacy of their son Issa that remains his sole focus. Randy, who lives in London near the home Janet and Almana shared, claims that while the abuse was not physical, he was compelled to come to his sister's aid earlier this year. I told her, "You've got to move in with me or I'm going to go over there and there's going to be hell." She was really pissed off, but I told her, "I don't care anymore. I'm tired of this. It's too much," he says. According to Randy, he wasn't the only member of the large Jackson family to rally around Janet after the divorce. My mom and sister Rebby came out to London. And as for Mom, Katherine Jackson, 87, and Father Joe Jackson, 89, Randy says at first he shielded them from what he knew. "I didn't want them to know. My parents are up there in age, so I wanted to protect them as much as possible. But now they know. Everybody in the family knows." Soon after the news of their separation, Almana, who is reportedly Muslim, updated his website, wisamalmana.com, with a passage from the Quran. "You shall most certainly be tried in your possessions and in your persons. And indeed you shall hear many hurtful things from those to whom revelation was granted before your time, as well as from those who have come to ascribe divinity to other beings beside Allah. But if you remain patient in adversity and conscious of Him, this, behold, is something to set one's heart upon." 3:186. Despite early reports that the couple's split had to do with differing religious beliefs, Randy says Janet is Christian. Randy says that was not the problem. "I have a lot of Muslim friends and they don't act this way at all," he says. "It's a personal issue that he needs help with, and I'm going to pray for him too, but I'm not going to allow her to live in that abusive situation. She's my baby sister." Almana also took to his website with a picture of his estranged wife and a positive message titled Love. It reads, "To the most beautiful person in the world, thank you for your divine love, your eternal support, and for being my best friend. I love you so much. Inshallah, together in the great forever." Randy says, things have been anything but amicable. Asked how Janet is doing now, he says it's a tough time, noting that the famed control singer has been breaking down into tears on stage night after night while performing her song What About? During her opening night in Houston on Saturday, she was overcome with emotion. What you saw in Houston, it was her situation coming out, what she's been going through. Claims the abuse is still going on. Randy says the pair are still in contact, mostly due to co-parenting Issa. Custody, and of course, he allowed her to bring the baby on tour, but it's constant harassment. This tour almost didn't happen, but by the grace of God, we're here and we're very prayerful. It's not about anger or vengeance, says Randy. As for why he's decided to voice his claims, while he says Janet wants Issa to have a mother and a father, the couple's issues have grown too large. We don't like to put our business out there, but sometimes transparency helps you. Thrives in darkness. I'm just here supporting her through this time. Isn't that special? Well, I guess I'll just make my comments about this story. You know, timing is everything. I did watch the clip of her performing and breaking down. I certainly appreciate the entire Jackson family. My generation, I'm sure I can speak for all of us. They feel like family. We've all grown up with them. But I just can't help to feel like the breakdown was staged. And, you know, this was all planned ahead of time. Interview to have Randy divulge this information. Do I believe that she was verbally abused? Yeah. I don't think it was a happy marriage. It also stated in the article that, you know, Janet is Christian, she's not Muslim. Well, I'm a little confused. She was walking around in Muslim garb. She was shouting Inshallah and a lot of Muslim expressions during her tour. She certainly gave the impression that she had converted to Islam or being Muslim or however that goes. I wouldn't have never thought Janet was actually Christian 5 years of her married life. But in the article, Randy says Janet's a Christian. Okay. I'm just a little confused about certain things. It just seems to me that, you know, this was already planned out. The tour is going to open. I'm going to break down at this song, and then I want you to give an interview to People Magazine and divulge this information. That's one theory I have. theory I have is that my earlier videos when they first announced that they were getting a divorce, Janet and Wissam. And I just think that Janet's in some deep shit. I think she bit off more than she can chew, messing with this guy. And, and he might very well be a batshit crazy lunatic or close to it. Situation is driving him there. But I don't see this wrapping up to a situation where they will be living apart happily ever after, being co-parents, happening at all. And is this situation so serious as in the article Randy stated, the devil likes to thrive in darkness. So, you want the whole world, all of Janet's fans to know what was going on in her marriage. You want it out there that this guy is no Muslim saint and he's abusive and, he's a dangerous guy. Any billionaire is dangerous, even if you're a punk in there. You can have anything done that you want done. Shoot. Mother, Katherine Jackson, that woman loved every last one of her babies. Thank God for mother. Because she ain't one of those mothers where this billionaire can pay her off and have her turn her head. A child. But he got enough money to buy plenty of mamas in a situation like this. Thank God Katherine Jackson ain't one of them. I just see things, things just drop in my spirit. I guess it's called discernment. And I mean, there is drama at camp. He just let out a little bit. But I'm sure it is way deeper than this. Now, another theory, and this will be my final theory. I mean, is Janet the type of person, just want to make sure that she is financially set to come? Now, I know people say, not Miss Jackson. She got her own money, multi-hundred million. She's worth all this. You don't know what people are worth. Did we think Michael Jackson would ever die a broke man? Damn sure did now, didn't he? For all we know, before Janet got married to Wissam, she could have had about $30,000 in her bank account. For all we know. That could have been a little bit more. Could have been $3 million. Now, to us, that's a lot of money. But to somebody like Janet Jackson, she broke. She broke at $3 million. So, could it be, it was a situation, she got this young billionaire feeling her, and she knows she Janet Jackson, and wasn't nothing to get him to say, will you marry me? I do, and they did. She wasn't feeling him like that, but she made sure she'd have a baby, which is a beautiful thing, beautiful little boy. And now she don't want to deal with him no more. Did. This is to secure her future. Make sure she never be broke again or near broke. Because you can't tell me you did not, or one would not envision what life would be like with a guy like Wissam. You can't tell me that you just get married and realize that you're going to feel like you're a prisoner in your own home. And I don't know how a Muslim and a Christian can cohabitate together as husband and wife. I don't know how that was supposed to work. So is this a situation where she's being a gold digger? Is it? And now she's playing on the emotions of the public and her fans, because us Janet Jackson fans, we crazy about our Jackson family, just as crazy as they are. But is it a situation where she is using the public to her advantage, painting herself as a victim and Wissam as a monster? Maybe he's not really a monster. I happen to think he is, though. But what if he isn't? What if she's just, just to have a better footing on the divorce proceedings and custody and all of that? You never know. You think we know these people, but we don't know them. We only know what they allow us to know. And especially when it comes to the Jacksons, and especially Janet, we don't never know shit about Janet. Why is Janet being so open and letting her personal business out here in the public? When she was married to Renee Elizondo for 10 years, we didn't know that shit until she got divorced. Why does she want us to know what's going on in this marriage? Number one. Number two, why does she keep going from one abusive, tall, skinny, light-skinned, biracial man with the pretty hair in marriage to the next tall, skinny, light-skinned, or biracial man with the pretty hair, to the next one? I mean, shouldn't we have learned at the first abusive relationship, especially when you were 18, 19, with the debauch cat? That should have been the lesson of all lessons. I don't understand why it wasn't. I mean, really, after that short, abusive, drug-addicted husband and marriage, you come out with that slamming album, Control, like you learned something, like you gained some wisdom, because now you all grown up. You've been through it, honey. And then you get back into another abusive marriage, damn near a decade later, I suppose. No, wasn't even a decade later. Oh, let me see. Something like that. 4 or 5 years later, you're married again. Don't nobody know about this marriage. From like 93, I suppose. I don't know. And it's another abusive marriage. You just left out of that one with trust issues. Not sure if those trust issues came from the first marriage, but it certainly came out of the second one. And now this guy. He probably was the worst out of all three. I bet. So, I said all that to say, if you keep finding yourself dating or getting married to the same type of man, it's the same man, but in a different body. James, Renee, and Wissam are all the same man, but in different bodies. At this point, you need to start looking at you, Janet. There's something going on with you. I wish I can be open about some things, but I can't out here in these YouTube streets. But I do know one thing. It only takes Madam Whip ass one time to learn a lesson. Just once. You ain't got to teach me or show me no more. But I'm sensing that, she is using her fans, the public, to her advantage. I think she's taking the advantage of easily stepping into the victim role for various reasons. If that be the case, that's all I'm going to say. Make that one to grow on. Let me run to the chat. And let's see. Well, look who popped up in the chat room. It is Curie. She says, not enough. Katherine allowed Joe to run rampant even in the end and encouraged Michael to support him. Katherine has been kidnapped how many times now? This is a PR situation. Classic. I am Team Toya. She told the truth for PR. She's being open and setting the stage because some shit is about to come out. Watch. Curie, I'm going to read what you last said again. Curie says, she is being open and setting the stage because some shit is about to come out. Watch. I believe you. It's something. It's a reason for all of this. But stay tuned. I will be hot on this story at every turn. If you go to my original Madam Whip Ass channel and scroll down and look for the videos I did back in April, I suppose, or maybe early, well, what, February, March, April. Did some Janet Jackson videos when she announced her divorce and all of that. Off with her pretty little head. All that stuff. Because I personally think the chick is playing with fire. I don't trust that with Sam Almana one bit. And when I first learned that they got married, my immediate thought was, tragedy soon come. It soon come. Carrie says, I have heard for years that Janet abuses her staff. Really? I've never heard that. I've listened to some interviews with each and every one of her dancers from the Janet tour. And they love Janet and Janet loved them. She even sent one of them to college to become a doctor. Nah, I'm not going to believe that she abuses her staff. Carrie says, I suspect that he is being demonized simply due to the way Janet and her family operates. It's possible. I'm leaning towards he's being demonized because he is a demon. And they're just, if he wasn't a demon, they probably would be operating the same way in this situation. But I really think he really is a demon. Remember when Janet hit Paris Jackson? I never seen Janet hit Paris Jackson. Do you mean that time when the helicopter was overhead? I think they were in Calabasas and something when Katherine was missing. Janet should have hit Paris that day, but she didn't. Yeah, they setting her up to look like a saint. That's a feeling I get. Oh, her household staff, she's abusive to them? Really? Yeah, she needed an ass whooping. That day she did, because her and her brother was sitting up there getting on Twitter or whoever, talking about, we want to see our grandmother now and putting out the family business. No, she need an ass whooping that day. I'm sorry. And if Janet did hit her, I ain't mad at her for that. Oh, listen, you get ready to get me to go down a different road. Now, this is supposed to be about Janet, but when I think about Paris, Michael Jackson Jr., and Blanket, Carrie, are you really trying to get me to go there? Let me know. If you want me to go there, I'll go there. You want me to go there, Curious? Do you really want me to vent? I'm waiting for your response. You know what? Carrie says, why should they be quiet? Katherine was their caregiver, and Janet and her brothers have been trying to get control over the estate. Curious? Why shouldn't they have control over the estate? Why shouldn't they, is what I say. Okay? They all work together as children and as siblings. They went on the road together on tours for many years, many shows. They rocked the world together. I don't give a damn what Michael said. He did not want them to control the estate. I'm pissed at Michael because of that. Because you want to know why, curious? Because when it's all said and done, the Michael Jackson estate will generate billions of dollars and it will go to white folk. That pisses me off. Every dime will go to white folk. All that money that estate even has today, you mean to tell me out of all the nieces and nephews, if he was pissed at his siblings, okay, I'll give him that. Sometimes siblings ain't shit. But what about the children in your family, the ones that you knew and the ones that are to come in the future? Michael loved the children, didn't he? You mean to tell me you're going to go and visit hospitals all over the fucking world and care about children all over the fucking world, but you don't see to it that the children, your own flesh and blood in your family, will forever be taken care of for generations to come? You couldn't leave the children in your family $1 fucking a month for the rest of their fucking life at least? Look, I'm getting pissed off. Don't make me go there, Carrie. Curious, don't make me go there. None of them white children are going to marry black folks, I believe. A 100 years from now, Michael Jackson will be known as the greatest white entertainer that ever moonwalked across this earth. By then, they would have erased everything black about Michael. Nobody will ever believe that Michael was a little black boy. Nobody will ever believe that 100 years from now. There will only be pictures of a white Michael Jackson. Anyway, when I really sit down and think about Michael, I really get pissed off at him. For real, as you can see. I'm going to the chat because Carrie is typing a whole lot of stuff. And you know, Carrie is as funny as hell. Carrie says, Janet doesn't need more money. Why was she trying to get more money from the estate? Maybe she didn't have any money, Curious. Because Michael said he did not want them to control the estate. Michael cut them off in life and stopped touring with them. Michael wanted that money with his mother. Janet and her brothers need to stop playing with that elderly woman. And of course he cared for children all over the world. He was a child molester. Oh, curious. Michael's brothers shared a wife and had kids with her. Kids by the same woman. They could have gotten jobs instead of sharing vagina. Could have been performing, but his brothers was swimming in the same pussy child. You really believe that Michael was a child molester, Curious? Why? What proof do you have? I'm waiting. I am waiting. You're going to send me some photos. Oh, Lord. Okay, Curie is going to send me some photos. You are like the wrong person to be in chat, Curious, because you know how to keep me longer than I intend to stay. But come on, Curious. Anyway, while she's about to send me some photos, yeah, as you can see, I get pissed off when I really sit down and think about the Michael Jackson estate and who will eventually be controlling that estate forevermore. Look, I mean, every last one of his siblings didn't deserve anything. I guess in his mind, he said, well, you know what? I'll make sure mother gets like, how much does Catherine get? I think Catherine gets like $80,000 a month. Yeah, I think she gets like $80,000 a month. And, I guess in Michael's mind, he know mama going to take care of all her children. So they get money that way. But it's, God forbid, if something should happen to Catherine, there's no more stipend for anybody. It just goes back to the estate and to those 3 children. And that's that. I mean, it's to the point that the reason why the mama Jackson and, whatever they live, she has a house in Calabasas, is because she could no longer live at Havenhurst. I mean, that was the home that they moved to from Gary, Indiana, that beautiful palatial estate. That was home, that beautiful mansion. And for that woman to have had to have left that place, it's not like she moved into something shabby, but still, the memories, the home, she can't even live there anymore because Michael eventually owned it. He bought it. That's part of the Michael Jackson estate. I don't think Michael would have wanted it that way. I would think Michael would have always wanted his mother to have that place, for sure. For sure, for sure. And I'm sure Michael probably told Paris and his children, this is going to be yours one day, and it's going to be a lot, plenty, plenty, plenty. And don't give your uncles and your aunts shit. Paris, if they ask you for 2 cents, you have my permission to tell them to go fuck themselves. Anyway, Curie's back. Diana never met Michael's kids. Michael was a white person by the time he died, and it was them giving him their money. Ha 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 ha. Now look at how they are kidnapping Catherine, etc., for their own personal gain. And when Diana started having her kids, you notice Michael was not around. Mm-hmm. Well, what you trying to say, Curie? What you trying to say? Michael and Diana broke up in the 80s. Well, not that we know that they were ever together, but I think Michael was in love with her. You know? Oh, I'm going to check my message. Oh, Lord, I'm scared to look because, Carrie can find some stuff. Y'all excuse me for a second, okay? Just excuse me for a second. I'm looking at a wealth of pictures that Carrie sent me. Where did you find these pictures, Curious? I'm looking at the expression on some of these boys' faces. Okay, well, this teenage guy, that's his nephew. A strange picture, but it's still his nephew. Lord, Carrie. I've never seen this picture with his teenage nephew. That's the one who was help raising the kids. That's not very appropriate, I don't think. But curious, if I sent you would you be able to come on and screen share these pictures? Yes or no? Because I'm getting ready to send you the link. And I need you to screen share these pictures so we can discuss this. Oh, come on. No. I'm trying to find you. Oh. I'm trying to find you. Why can't I find you? Why can't I find you? I don't know why I can't find you, Curious. Can you message me your Gmail and I send it to your Gmail? Please. I don't want to do that because somebody will come and do that. Okay. That's better. What? That's an error. You son of a gun. Stop it. Please. No, why is it an error? Please, don't be an error. Okay. Oh, that's why it was an error. Y'all hang on, audience. Bear with me, please. It's going to get even better. The Real Housewives. Okay, here it comes. Curia is on her way. She can't talk, but she'll definitely be sharing these pictures. Y'all need to see these. Y'all need to see these pictures, honey. I've never seen these pictures. How she was, I don't know. Oh my God, that's Webster. Oh boy. Do you know what year was this? Had to be about 7 years ago. They were building some new houses in my area. And so me and my cousin went into the model home. And we were talking to the lady, and I happened to look to see who was in the parking lot and walking to come inside the model home. It was Webster. I said, I'll be damned. So I chatted with him, and we walked through the model home. He was with his aunt, and the three of us walked and looked at this model home together and everything. And he was so nice and little. I remember saying to him as we were parting ways, tell Michael I don't believe he did it. I don't know. I kind of ran after I said that to him. Don't ask me why I ran. I don't know. I just didn't want that little nigga trying to whip my ass. But yeah, I sure did see Webster in Powder Springs, Georgia. Hey, Nicole. Yeah, Emmanuel Lewis. Well, where are you, Carrie? Did you get the email? I sent the email. Oh, there it goes. All right. She is so cool. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that one. Can I like scroll through? I wonder, can they see it? Yeah, they can see it too. Okay. So how are you going to put the others up? Okay, the story behind this is that Emmanuel Lewis's parents were concerned. Oh, Lord. Okay, I got to go back to messages. Okay. Okay, can I put you on share for everyone so they can see? Present to everyone? Okay. Do y'all see? Well, when I didn't do that, it was on that other one. Hold on. Hold on. Well, maybe not. Okay, so now it's back on. Okay. All right, it's doing it. All right, so I'm back on Messenger, Carrie. Oh, now here's another one she said. Oh, Jesus. Now, what was the story? He was saying something. Well, see, I see another picture on Messenger. Why do they have baby bottles? Really? Oh, that must be the Jesus juice. Anyway, that's just one picture. And you were saying something, the story behind this. Oh, Lord, Carrie. I'm lost now, curious. Because so far it's just one picture. But they playing. I don't know, curious. All right. Yes, it's not normal for a grown man to be hanging around little boys. Like those were his friends, the 12 and the 13-year-olds. They said that the night of the Grammys, you know, during Thriller, when he took Brooke Shields and Webster, that after the Grammys, they took Brooke Shields home and him and Emmanuel went to hang out. Well, that's different. But Carrie has just sent me a whole bunch of pictures of Michael with boys that are around the same age, 11, 12, maybe 13. This is painful, curious. Some of them are professional pictures. And these at various times throughout his career. You could tell, you know, the certain looks that he had. Like this one picture with Macaulay Culkin, it looks like. That's what it looks like. This was during the way you make me feel. That videos, those days, I should say. Then there's one that looks like it was around the time he was married to Lisa Marie, because he has that short bob haircut like in that video, You Are Not Alone. And the kid who's sitting on his lap, who looks to be about 10. I don't know, the expression on this kid's face. I wish you all could see what I'm looking at. Oh, there's the other picture she just sent. Why do they have baby bottles? Here's another picture. This looks like the days of, like his hair is done like in that video, the Dirty Diana video. So that was during Bad. Yeah, this is during the Bad days. I don't know who this white kid is, but he's like among the angels in this picture with Michael. I guess this is the same kid in the same type of pictures, just look different because the one I was just looking at was black and white. But here's a colored one, different pose. Oh, I don't know. It's curious. Curious. Why are you doing this to me? And then, of course, these are the ones with him. Think of the video. What's that one? It don't matter if you're black or white. Looks like during that time. This is the nephew. I don't know his name, but it's one of Tito's kids. And that's the one who was kind of helping Katherine raise Michael's kids after he passed. But it's a disturbing photo because the nephew is wearing some type of white clothing. Michael's wearing the white shirt that in the black and white video, that white shirt, and it's torn already, he has on black pants. But he's standing with his nephew, who is damn near half naked with a boner. And he has like a torn piece of material barely covering him. And it is covering his private part, but you can see the boy got a boner, and you can see a portion of his pubic hair. That's very inappropriate. And in the other picture, it looks like the nephew is kind of holding his boner. I wonder if his nephew looks at these pictures and deems them as, a special moment. I think it's rather disturbing. Huh. I'm checking, Curie. They can see the pictures. When I put it on share for everyone or present to everyone, they can't see the picture on the regular channel. So the way I'm doing it now, it's fine. Ooh-wee. Come on, give me another picture, Carrie. Can do the 3T picture. That's like, whoa. There are just so many layers to Michael Jackson that, I mean, good grief. You could talk for ever. There it goes. Ooh-wee. Come on. It should be coming up, y'all. There it goes. Look, you can talk forever about his contributions to music. You could talk forever about him as an entertainer, that charisma he had in his style of dance, even as a 5-year-old little boy, and how he sung songs when he was 5 like he was a grown man at the age of 45. You can discuss those things forever. That's one dimension of Michael Jackson. And then there's that dimension of the self-hate and what he did to himself. You could talk about that forever. The man desecrated his own nose. And why did he do that? When you look at their father, don't look at Joe's nose today. They all got a nose job. But go back and look at old videos from the 1970s. They all had that Joe Jackson nose, which I didn't have a problem with their nose. But Michael sure had a problem with his. Well, apparently they all had a problem with their nose, and so they all did something about it. But Michael just didn't stop. It got to the point where every time he spoke, he sounded like he had a cold. He had no nose. He had to wear a falsy nose. Who needs a fake nose? None other than Michael Jackson. I've never heard of such a thing, unless you were in a car accident or some sort of accident, or maybe you got in a fight with a monkey and he ripped your face off. But other than that, why would you need to walk around with a fake nose? Don't tell me that Michael had vitiligo, and that's why, he bleached his skin. I believe he had vitiligo. I believe he had a skin condition. I'm not going to dispute that. But I think it just gave him all the more reason of wanting to just be white. Every time I see something, like I go to this furniture store, they have this big life-size mannequin, whatever you want to call it, of Michael Jackson. It's not Black Michael Jackson, it's white Michael Jackson. Anytime you are going to see something about Michael Jackson, it's going to be in his white man form. It pisses me off. I don't know about you. Carrie, where'd you go? Come back, Carrie. It just pisses me off. And to see these pictures that Carrie sent me, trust me, these are pictures most of us have never seen before. How many different types of little boys he hung out with? I was confused. My mind is going back now to the 80s during the Thriller days and all of that. I remember he would go to Disney World and shut down the whole park for the entire day, just for him and a little white boy. I remember he would go to F.A. Schwartz, whatever, some famous toy store in Manhattan, and shut down the store for the whole day. And him and one little white boy would go in there and go shopping, toy shopping. And I remember back in those days, I would read about this in the paper or see it, on Entertainment Tonight or something, and sit there and say to myself, why is he doing these fabulous things with little white kids? I remember thinking that. Why is he always going to really fabulous places and doing such fabulous things with little white boys? Why do Black people always do that? When they get rich and famous, they splurge their money on white folk. Why do Black people do that? It seems to be a trend. They do it all the time. To know that when it is all said and done, billions of dollars from Michael Jackson will go to white folk. When they started out with Motown as the Jackson 5, it wasn't white folk that was buying their albums. It was black folk. White folk really, I don't think, I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like white folk were really into Michael Jackson until the 80s with Thriller. And I can remember during the Thriller days, oh my God, I used to date this guy named Cohabitation. Don't laugh, y'all, but he was one of those people that dressed like Michael Jackson and looked like Michael Jackson every day. I'm not even going to go there. I'm sorry I even told you that much. How old was I then? We used to go to the Harlem School of the Arts on Saturdays. I was in we were in the acting class together. And he lived in Harlem. Cohabitation. I was about 15. Yeah, it was about 15 at the time. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. But I remember white people loving Michael Jackson during Thriller, the Thriller days. I remember he would be in the news, on the news so much. And I mean, the newscasters, it seemed like they got a hard on over the fact that they were just going to report a story about Michael Jackson. And at the conclusion of the news story, you know, the camera would cut back to the anchorman and he would say something like, boy, that Michael Jackson is somebody. During Thriller years, I shouldn't even say days, during the Thriller years, because that album stayed at #1 for a couple of years, or at least in the top 10 for 2 years, over 2 years. He had damn near the whole world on his dick. Yes, he did. Everybody, I'm mainly talking about white folk. In particular, I should say. Everybody. He was like the idol of the stars. So he was like to the stars, a celebrity to the celebrities. And I don't know what happened. I think it was Eddie Murphy that turned the tide when he came out with, was it Delirious? Yeah, that was the first stand-up comedy of Eddie Murphy, Delirious. And he was the first one to make a joke about Michael Jackson, talking about he ain't the most masculine fellow in the world. And that was like in 83. Were people making fun of Michael in 83, 84? No. If they were, it wasn't in a disrespectful tone. The world anticipated his next album, Bad. He and Whitney Houston dropped their albums, I believe, the same day. Either it was the same day or the same week. It was Whitney's second album and Michael's Bad. I remember I was in California at that time. And that's all everybody was talking about. They couldn't wait to hear Michael Jackson's album and Whitney's. And I remember listening to the radio station out there in LA when they first played Bad. You can't see your photo story? Oh, wait a minute. There's another one. There it goes. I wish they could just scroll through. I just remember, so no, the world was still loving Michael in 1987 for Bad. And it was somewhere between Bad and History that things started going downhill, where they started calling him Wacko Jacko. I wish you could move in and scroll. I saw something that you said, Curie. Curie said, and I take it you were referring during the Thriller days or just the whole Jackson 5 era. She says, it's a nice time to be alive, lucky. You know what? When Michael passed, and I think I can speak for a lot of people, we all felt that we were glad to be alive at the conception of the Jacksons. And, you know, from the beginning, all through the Jackson 5 and the Jacksons and Michael Jackson, Off the Wall and Thriller, I'm thankful to have been alive from damn near the beginning. You know, I can sit here and say all that I want to say about Michael Jackson, but we will never see another entertainer like this man again, not in this lifetime. We just won't. And the same thing for Prince. We'll never see another genius, another talent like Prince again. Never. Bruno Mars is, I want to say kind of close, but he's not even kind of close. You can't duplicate a Michael, you can't duplicate a Prince. But Bruno Mars is super duper talented. If I was a teenager, I'd be in love with Bruno Mars. I'd have pictures of him hung up on my wall, all in my room, if I was a teenager. I promise you that. Okay, next picture. Scroll through, darling. I thought I could scroll through, but I can't. Look at him. He's holding his boner. That's a very inappropriate picture. I don't know what they were thinking. But he probably thinks, you know, that's a special moment between them. I don't know. What was you trying to say, Mike? Were you like, was he like being rebellious, or, you know, trying to make a statement to the people who were accusing him of being a child molester? Was that the case? Okay, here's another picture. Thank you, Curious. You are fabulous. This looks like a picture during the time of the video. You are not alone. I'm not saying this picture is from the video. I'm just saying during that time. I'm looking at the haircut and all of that. They both look dirty. And I'm not sure what to make of the facial expression of this little boy. He looks like he wants to cry. I'm looking at his body language, his arms. He's being hugged and held on to by Michael, but his arms are like, you know, kind of like he doesn't want to be touched at all by this dude. He certainly doesn't look like, oh my God, I'm sitting on Michael Jackson's lap. How are you born a poor little black boy and grow up to be a rich white woman? How is this possible? I bet you Elizabeth Taylor has a lot to do with this Michael Jackson that we're looking at right now. I'm sure of it. That's another one of his biggest downfalls. A young black man hanging out with old rich white women. Who does that? Who says that is cool? And I did a video about a hangout about Elizabeth Taylor, and because I wasn't even playing music, YouTube shut it down because I was presenting pictures of her. Because all my life I've been hearing from people, white people and black alike, how beautiful, absolutely beautiful and stunning Elizabeth Taylor is. Let me tell you something. I have looked at Elizabeth Taylor countless times trying to see all this stunning beauty. She looks so average to me. I can say she has beautiful eyes, but I just didn't, I never saw the beauty that all these people claim Elizabeth Taylor had. And I guess that's why she had 8 husbands. The woman was a whore. Next picture, please, Carrie. But yeah, I'm going to talk about this in a second. Who's this, Menudo? The hell? Is that a midget to the left? Is that a little girl? What is that? I'm not sure. Okay. Well, that's a girl in the red and white. Oh, Carrie. Wow. That's not photoshopped, Carrie. I know it's not photoshopped. Or is it? No, it's not. Mm. She said it ain't photoshopped because she ran them through photo forensics. Oh my God, Carrie. Where is Michael's hand? It is gripping this boy's thigh. High up on the thigh at that. Oh my. Ooh, well, hold that picture. I want to go back to my Elizabeth Taylor theory. Now, we all know what Michael looked like during Thriller. He had some surgery on his nose between Off the Wall album and the Thriller album. Off the Wall album, he had his regular nose, I believe. He might have had a little surgery on the Off the Wall album. He might have. But it was, I want to say he didn't. But he did have some by the time Thriller came. And I think somewhere between after Thriller and before Bad, I think he and Elizabeth and Liz were probably hanging out in her bedroom. No, I don't believe they were fucking. They were just friends. But I think, they were just talking as friends do and, hanging out or whatever. And I guess he was presenting to her his concept of his new album, Bad. And I guess Liz was becoming excited about his new album. And I think she blurted out something like, Michael, you're so wonderful, you're so fabulous. And she probably had a big, huge freestanding mirror, and she probably brought him over to the mirror and said, you know what, you need to change your look. Now, I think if you just get some surgery and just nip your nose off a little here and a little there, I have just the perfect doctor for you, Michael. And maybe you might want to just maybe lighten up your skin a bit, and you will be the most famous, fantastic, fabulous entertainer, the white entertainer in the whole world. And Michael probably stopped and turned to her and said, but Liz, I'm black. And she probably said, oh, Michael, you're black, but you're not really black. You ever heard white people say that? You're black, but you're not really black. That's all he needed to hear. I think she was highly instrumental in what Michael turned into physically. Next picture. I tell you, these are so many different white kids. Who is Jonathan Spence? Curie says, this is Mike with the same boy, Jonathan Spence. Do you have any information? Who is he? I see a picture like this, Curious, and you say, okay, is it such a bad picture? It seems innocent. She says, I never saw the mother or father. The boy called Michael Daddy. Maybe he didn't have parents. I've never seen this picture before. I've never seen Michael in this outfit either. Oh, the same boy from the last photo. Oh, got you. The one where he had his hand on his thigh? Oh, Lord. Wow. Move to the left. Who are these people to the left? Jesus Christ. are midgets. Isn't that special? Wait a minute. Well, who's this little black guy? That's a midget. I know a midget when I see one. And the one in the black and white striped shirt that looks like a girl, I think, that's not a midget. 12-year-old boy and black man right here got a whole full beard. No, the one with the hand, he has his hand on his side. He doesn't look like a midget. Oh, Carrie, you're making me see something that I really didn't want to see. Michael's worker on Jonathan, they were sleeping together. I would come back to work the next morning and they would still be in the room. Is this still Jonathan Spence? That's not the one who first sued him in 93. That wasn't his name. Correct? Right, okay. You said something long-term friendships. She says there are tons of boys who never came forward who lived with him. I take it you think LaToya told the truth back in 93, huh? You know, in fact, this boy got married at Michael's house when he grew up. Who did he marry? Another man? Or did he marry a woman? Well, I would think if you was in a long-term relationship with a man as a boy, you wouldn't marry a woman. But what do I know? Okay. Next picture. LaToya blasting Michael Jackson for child molesting. Whew. Girl, I remember that when she did that. She said, I will not be a silent collaborator to his crimes. But then when she got back to in the Jackson family, back to her family, and she started doing interviews, and now that Jack Gordon was dead, she blamed the whole thing on him. He made me say those things. I was physically abused. He made me say those things. And I could see she was lying when she said that.
I have this to say.
I must tell you that this is very difficult for me, that Michael is my brother. I love him a great deal, but I cannot and I will not be a silent collaborator of his crimes against small, innocent children. And if I remain silent, then that means that I feel the guilt and the humiliation that these children are feeling, and I think it's very wrong. I have seen checks payable to the parents of these children. And I don't know if these children were apparently brought to the parents by Michael or not, but I have seen these checks, and I've seen these checks through my mother. She showed me these checks that Michael had written to these children, and it's for a great amount. And I'm not speaking pennies. The sums are very, very large amounts. And this is my first time talking about it, and I never want to speak about it. I never want to say anything about it. But I think it's sad because I am a victim myself, and I know what it feels like. And these kids are going to be scarred for the rest of their life. And I don't want to see any more innocent small children being affected this way. I love Michael very dearly, but I feel even more sorry for these children because they don't have a life anymore. They don't. Now you stop and you think for 1 second, and you tell me what 35-year-old man is going to take a little boy and stay with him for 30 days, and take another boy and stay with him for 5 days in a room and never leave the room. How many of you out there are 35 years old? How many men are out there? How many would take little kids and do that are 9, 10, 11 years old? I love my brother, but it's wrong. I don't want to see these kids hurt. I've been hurt by it too. My father molested me sexually, and I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. And to this day, this is my husband, and he can vouch for this. I will not have a relationship with him because of that. But I love him dearly, but I cannot. Perhaps one day I will come to terms with it, and I will be able to. But for now, I can't do it. And that's what I don't want to see happen to these little kids, because I know what it feels like in the heart.
The Jackson family replied by saying that LaToya makes her money from lying and was probably paid to speak out against her brother. Only last month, LaToya, who is estranged from her family, said she thought her brother was innocent. Although Michael Jackson is still under investigation by the Los Angeles Police Department and faces a civil lawsuit from a 13-year-old boy, he has not been charged with a crime. Last month, he cancelled his tour and is undergoing treatment for an addiction.
Wow. Okay, next picture. Child looks lost in the eyes here. Was this during one of his court days? That's what it looks like. One of those days he was leaving court. Who's this to the right? He looks familiar. Oh, he looks familiar because he looks like he's trying to look like that guy. Jesus Christ, look at Michael. Good Lord. Next. His eyes are wider. Oh my God. Next picture. He looks nothing like a Jackson. He looks like he created his own fucking race. And he's the only one in it. The Boy, a photographic essay. Okay, so what is this? Oh, it's a book found in his house? The Boy, a photographic essay. Do you have the contents of what's inside this book? Or would that be kiddie porn? She said, I think it's clear what is in this book. Will you stop yanking me out of fucking denial, curious? By a NAMBLA member? NAMBLA stands for National Association Man Loves Boy organization. You know, I had been up in the air about this for years. And especially with this, I thought with this documentary here, oh Jesus, look at Michael. God damn. Anyway, I thought with this documentary, they were reaching. I really did. And they twisted what he said. He didn't say that he slept with boys. He said, what was wrong with sharing your bed with boys? I took it to mean that, you know, he let somebody sleep in his bed. Not that he was sleeping with them, but they did to him what a lot of people do out here in these YouTube streets. You make a statement. The book is popular because it isn't illegal. You know, you make a statement and somebody twists it deliberately out of context, stigmatize you and make it stick. And that's exactly what they did to Michael here. I try to be objective about stuff and be fair. On the other hand, I remember feeling some kind of way as they were sitting there and holding hands. I don't know boys that age that would be so comfortable sitting there holding another man's hand, especially if it's not their father. I don't even see them doing that with their father. I don't think there was anything between him and Emmanuel Lewis. Carrie says, why didn't he love girl children the same way? Curious, stop yanking me out of my denial, okay? I think he just liked Emmanuel, aka Webster, because, you know, he was little and he was a cute little kid. Okay. So now you're going to show me a picture with Emmanuel laying on his lap. And Carrie says, this is what grooming looks like. His parents were concerned. Were they? Where did you get this information from, Carrie? I missed what you said before the streets. You said, why what? Why something? She said she got the information from the streets. Why check this child into a hotel as his father? Because it was a play date, Curious. I'm laughing because what I just said is so fucking ridiculous and absurd. A play date. But you know that's what it was. Why buy bottles for this child to suck on? What you talking about, Willis? What are you implying, Curie? That he was grooming him by sucking on a bottle to learn how to suck on something else? Says these pictures that she's showing, she says this is what the grooming process looks like. I have heard that is what the pedophiles do. Oh my. Whew. Okay, next picture, Carrie. is the man on the bed? Is that Emmanuel Lewis's father? She put in capital letters. No, it is not. You know, I asked Michael Jackson fans who was on the bed, and they what? You go back to what you said. I didn't finish. Carrie's is so funny to me. Love her. I missed what you said. I was reading and I didn't finish. It may be the gay pornographer he had working on the ranch. Really curious. You know that picture, you know, they say a picture says 1,000 words. He had him working as the head of something at his house. That picture just don't look right, curious. Michael fired him during the trials. Well, I guess it wouldn't look right to have a gay pornographer on your staff and rehired him after. Oh, Jesus. He fired him saying he never knew what he did. I just don't like this picture. Poor Emmanuel. That don't look right. Next picture. Where was this? It looks like there's a picture of Michael on the wall. Huh. Yeah, this ain't cool. All right, next picture, Carrie. Since the fan community, oh, go back. What'd you say, Carrie? I missed it. Repeat that, please, if you can. Since the fan community doesn't want to look at the photo, we may never know. They don't want to look at the photo? Wow. Okay, next picture. Jesus. I don't see any vitiligo on Michael's hands. They become, oh, I missed it again. Okay, so you zoomed up on, they become extremely irate when shown these things. Yeah, his fans are something else. They do. Oh, isn't that special? I'm not sure why he dyed that little boy's hair like that. I don't know why he did that. And Paris is just adorable. White boys were at the top of Michael's list. Yeah, he dyed that boy's hair. I don't know why he did. I don't know why. Oh, Lord. I don't know why he did. No baby at this age asks for their hair to be dyed, says Curious. Mm. Jesus. They all have on rouge. Mm, mm, mm. What a nice picture. Mm. Okay. This is a very narcissistic picture. That's one thing about Michael. He was extremely narcissistic. You are looking at a narcissistic individual. Oh, there's a little black angel on the ground. Why the black angel got to be on the ground? But these are angels of little boy faces who are naked with their bottoms showing at the bottom of his feet. Why is he holding an xylophone? He had this commissioned. What does that mean? Curious. He requested it. Maybe he just envisioned that this is what his afterlife would be like. He would have little boy cherubims worshiping him in the afterlife. Because that's what it looks like to me. And it looks like one of them is about to kiss him. The one on the left is trying to give him a kiss. Oh my stars. All the little white boys, they're so angelic and they all love me, Michael Jackson. They're all around me. They're at my feet. I have music in my hand, an instrument. Oh my stars. Look at these faces. Little boys all around me with all different colors of hair. Look, that one about to kiss him. You know, Curious, you have just yanked me out of denial and you won't stop. Jesus Christ. Michael, what happened to you? The look in his eyes in this picture. Mm, mm, mm. Is that same boy, Jonathan Spence? Friendships tend to end at 14 with all of them. If they were friends, why not lifelong friendships? What do you have in common with the 12-year-old when you're 35? What do you do? No, I'm really. Not unless I had a child that was 12 years old. I would not have any reason to go hang out with a 12-year-old unless they were my child. I didn't have 12-year-old friends since I was 12. You know what I mean? Okay, next picture. I bet they did a lot of fun things together. Okay, who is this kid? Oh my God, why are him and the kid dressed alike? This is the famous red shirt. Why is this red shirt famous? This little kid looks familiar. Who is he? He would put them in the same outfits during touring. He would take these boys with him. Mm, mm, mm. This little kid looks familiar. He's probably the first. I think this is one of the kids, the kid that I think I seen him take to F.A. Swartz and have that whole expensive toy store shut down for the day. Way back when, in the 80s. And I remember thinking, why is he doing all this great stuff with white boys, little white kids? Did somebody Photoshop the white man out? Because that's what it looks like. He just has, oh, it's the second shot. He just has too many little white boy friends for him to be a grown-ass man. You never seen Prince with any kids, tell you the truth. He was always with fine bitches. Prince running around the world with exotic women, different ones. Michael Jackson running around the world with little white boys. Go figure. Next picture. I wasn't planning to stay this long. Let's see what you do, Carrie. Come on, next picture. Don't rush, though. Don't matter at this point. Carrie says in chat, police were allegedly convinced he molested his nephews. Additionally, a nephew went away during the investigations to the Bahamas. Keep in mind, these children lived on the estate. Diana cut him off, huh? Not around her sons. Nope. Oh, wow. Okay, let me go back. Who is this kid? He looks a bit too old, if you ask me. And he looks part Korean or something. Oh, Sean Lennon. Oh, I got it right. I said he looked part Korean. Okay. What's wrong with Sean Lennon's hand? She said, hold on, let me give you that story. You know, Carrie is just spilling the tea tonight. I have never seen these pictures before. They have been suppressed, huh? Mm. Ooh-wee. We're waiting for Carrie to give the background of this particular story with Sean Lennon. Girl, you are a bit too much. Lyrics, we both could not believe it was like living in a dream. We didn't understand dancing with Peter Pan. What would be the result when we turned into young what? Adults. Okay, what does that mean? Another boy who defended Michael then says weird stuff like this. Young adults. Very, very strange. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not connecting the dots with that. I'm sorry. That one went right over my head, curious. Not understanding it. So that was what I just read. Was a kid. Michael wasn't a young adult, but they became young adults. What do you mean Michael wasn't a young adult? He was a young adult. Oh, I'm so confused. Turned into young adults. You know what? Can you type these lyrics or whatever, put them in the regular chat? I need to read it again in its entirety. Please. MJFacts.com. Good Lord. Genius.com. The Claypool Lennon Delirium Bubble Burst lyrics. What? Bubbles Burst. Produced by Les Claypool and Sean Lennon. Verse 1. In 1983, in a Texas facility, he was just a few months old when they told him he was sold. They flew the primate's pet upon a private jet and off to Neverland, where he met the impish man. Chorus. Feasting on candy and dressed like a dandy, Bubbles was treated like no other chimpanzee, transported to a planet made of toys, bananas, and games. Childhood's end and Bubbles burst. We met in the arcade playing video games. We both could not believe it was like living in a dream. We didn't understand. Dancing with Peter Pan, what would be the result when we turned into young adults? I'll read that again. We met in the arcade playing video games. We both could not believe it was like living in a dream. We didn't understand. Dancing with Peter Pan. What would be the result when we turned into young adults? Feasting on candy and dressed like a dandy, Bubbles was treated like no other chimpanzee, transported to a planet made of toys, bananas, and games. Childhood's end and Bubbles burst. I'm going to read this quote. What have the artist said about the song? The song is about Bubbles, a pet chimpanzee owned by Michael Jackson. I just thought it was an interesting metaphor for what happened to a lot of Michael's friends who were my age. It felt like there was something odd going on, and I still don't know what it was. Nothing ever happened with me in a legal way, but the whole place just felt like I was in some Peter Pan fantasy land. And there was a sense that when Bubbles got too old, he'd have to be getting rid of because chimpanzees turn into angry adults or dangerous adults. Sean Lennon. Damn curious. Michael drew this picture. They say he was one heck of an artist. Have you seen my childhood? What does it say? I didn't know he could draw so well. Who knew? Okay, did Michael Jackson really give Aaron Carter alcohol and drugs?
But I wanted to. I wanted to drink, so.
You're a kid.
Right. But I mean, 15, you want to do those kind of things, and I was experimenting, at that time. So I think if I was a 40-year-old man, I wouldn't be offering anything to a 15-year-old teenager, even if he or she was asking for anything like that,
Wow.
There's another story. Something has to happen. And I also told you involves drugs. And I saw that. And I saw the alcohol. Me too. I don't know if this is something I don't want to talk about. Maybe not. But I want to be the obvious, but no, this happened. It really didn't.
Mm. I'm not sure why I don't think that's a big deal. But okay. People who smoke weed tend to find other people that they smoke weed. And they smoke weed together. It happens. Even at 15, there's a lot of 15-year-olds who get high with adults. They just share and smoke a joint. I'm just saying, it's happened. It's always happened. Next picture. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it happens, and it happens a lot. After what he went through legally, he continued to seek friendships with underage boys and give them wine and weed. I think I'm going to have nightmares from that angel picture with Michael. I've seen the picture before, but I've never really analyzed it and seen it up close and personal. Like, I never realized, I'm reading what you're saying, that one of the angel little boys is trying to kiss him. Anyway, Aaron wrote a song about Michael. Yeah, was it a good song? Was some of the lyrics in that song questionable? Does it make you think? Can you interpret it in a particular way? In a nefarious way, I should say? Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking away. Can you repeat that? Can you show me the link actually? And where is it stated that this was a particular song written for Michael? Because I couldn't read everything that you put up briefly, but it sounded like an end of a love affair. What is it? What is it that you speak of, my darling? And I think we're going to have to do a part 2 to this. We're definitely going to have to do a part 2 because this is too much, Curious. Okay, I need to digest this. I really do. That cherubim picture. Mm, mm, mm.
All the secrets that we kept, and I remember when you said that you never loved me. All the pain that we've been through, all we wanted was the truth. Was it not enough? Was it never meant to be? It tears me up to live no love. Hardest thing that I ever had to do was find the strength to let go of you. The urge feel bad, the love we had was something that will never get back. I don't wanna do it, but I've gotta leave. I only want the best for you and me. I want you to know that it hurts so much. It hurts so
This song was written for Michael. Okay, give me 3 more pictures, and then I'm going to have to end this. Oh, now I can see. I'm so stupid. Oh, okay. See, now I'm in the group chat, so now I can see. Okay. Oh, God. I just don't like looking at Michael. I just don't like it. Next picture, please. Mm, mm, mm. Curious says, can you imagine writing a song like that for a friend you had as a young teen boy? You know what? those lyrics are all up for interpretation. He could be talking about, you know, when he's talking about the letting you go, could mean, you know, Michael passing. It's all up for interpretation. Nobody's wrong. You're certainly not wrong if you interpret it a particular way. I'll read these lyrics again. He says, I remember when we met, all the secrets that we kept. And I remember when you said that you would never lie to me. All the pain that we've been through, all we wanted was the truth. Was it not enough for you? Was it never meant to be? It tears me up to end a love. The first thing that I ever had to do. Okay. The Dangerous Boys. Who's this little boy? We always wondered, you know, and see, this is like reasons why the press, they started calling him Wacko Jacko, because he'd go out in public with these masks on. But what people didn't know was that he was having all these plastic surgeries done to his nose. And his nose was rotting off of his face. And there were times where the shit had to heal. And he had to go out in public, so he put on a mask. They all had nose jobs. They all like who? The little boys he was with? Or you mean all of the Jacksons? Oh, yeah, they all did. They all got rid of that nose. I don't know how, you know, the whole brood of 11 people can all look at each other's noses and say, you know, let's get rid of this shit. We got the money to do it. I don't know, honey. All right. Next picture. Well, he seems like a happy kid to be sitting on Michael's lap in between his legs like that. Isn't that special? This is Brock Goldstein. I believe he is Macaulay Culkin's brother. Oh, a family affair, huh? Okay, next. Notice Aaron, Macaulay, and other friends of Michael are in horrible conditions now. Horrible. Really? What conditions? I don't hear nothing about them. Macaulay didn't age well, as most white people don't. And who is Aaron? Aaron Carter was part of what group? I can't remember. Backstreet Boys? Oh, Jesus. Is this man on drugs? Ugh. He looks very ill. Yes, he does. don't necessarily mean it has something to do with Michael. But Jesus. And what's going on with Aaron? Did any of his child friends not end up strung out outside of the ones who came forward? I don't know. This is all new to me. I didn't know he really hung out with so many little boys. You know, you knew about Macaulay, you knew about Emmanuel and Jordan, and maybe a couple of others, but Jesus Christ. That's Aaron Carter. What is he crying about? Okay. Maybe Michael Jackson's calling was not in child mentorship with the kids growing up like this. No, he was taking these kids on tours and picking up little boys in other countries. Oh, God, curious. What's wrong with Aaron? This is Aaron, right? What's wrong with him? Why is he crying and looking like this? Why does he look like he does heroin? Giving their parents jobs so he could have full-time access. He's a mess. He's probably is on drugs. Mm-mm. Yeah, he looks like he's on heroin. But again, Michael was helping Aaron and these boys. Wow. Wow. Oh, they have on the same shirt. Different kids, same shirt. Well, what was that about? Is there like a pedophilic concept behind that? Or did they wear the same clothes to show that, you know, they were boyfriend and boyfriend? What is that? Next picture. She says, I am not sure why he dressed these strangers' kids like this. It was one thing with Emmanuel. He was a celeb, but these random kids, it's odd. Okay, next picture. Oh, darn, where am I? Oh, okay. That's another same red shirt or a little bit different? I thought that was the same red shirt when I first saw it. That's actually a black kid. Hey, hey now. I don't know who Omar is. Oh, Omar. They say that's Michael's son. Mm. Okay, next picture. The kid is not his son. Okay. They were just friends, right? Mm. Mm. She says, Omar actually revealed that he is not Michael's son. Michael took this kid and had him living with him too. And as you can see, he was in family photos, etc. Even Jackson's spiritual advisor, Rabbi Shmuley, told Jackson he should not be friends with children. After the 1993 allegations, Michael could no longer work with kids. I made that absolutely clear to him. But I also said to him, you're not the children's Messiah. Their parents are. You're not supposed to be building these hospitals and reading them bedtime stories. You're supposed to be inspiring their parents to prioritize them. And Michael embraced that message. Mm. Omar and Jackson met in October of 1996. Huh. He was 12. Mm. Omar has on eyeliner. Why is Omar's hair parted on the side like little Sally Saucer? Next picture. 3 more pictures and that's it. Oh, another red shirt. A little different, but is that Omar again? Wow. He didn't leave Omar no money? Okay, let's see. How curious that Jackson just so happened have this shirt with him in Tunisia in Omar's size. Did Jackson carry a supply of these shirts everywhere he went just in case he might come across a boy he liked? Jackson organized jobs at Neverland for Omar's parents. Whilst there is no proof available, it's quite reasonable to assume that Jackson, as he did with the Robson family, helped the Bahatis to acquire green cards, allowing them to stay in the United States. All the money should go to these kids, every penny, the kids and LaToya.
Go more. Who wants to go more? He wants to go more.
Well, curious. They were just having fun, innocent fun. She says, listen, as Omar calls Michael dad, why did Omar have to be moved from his country to live in Michael's house and call him dad? Because maybe Michael was the father he never had. Maybe. The problem is that Omar did have a father who moved to America as well, along with the mother. Well, if he called him dad, well, doesn't mean they were fucking. I didn't realize this situation is what it was until a month or so ago. Please. She's saying please because I said doesn't mean they were fucking because he calls them dad. I think I'm pissing Curious off a little bit. Well, she's pissing me off. She's snatching me out of denial. Okay, listen. We can continue this. She said, it's okay. I had to leave denial too. Do you have more to share for a part 2? Is it necessary for a part 2, Curious? Wow. Well, Michael was most comfortable with boys, as we can see. Doesn't mean he was molesting them. Okay, listen to what she says. She said, no, we don't need to do a part 2. She says, no, but I am going to send you some of the blog links because I would love to hear you read them. We have more evidence on Michael than we do on Eddie Long. Why not stay friends after puberty? If you abandon me after I turn 26, I'm calling 911, madam. Okay, send me those links on Hangouts, and then I'll do a Hangout and read these blog links for sure. I certainly will do that. But Curious, thank you for sharing. I just did not realize how much he hung out with little boys all the same age. Still don't mean he was fucking them, but I believe something weird happened with Justin Bieber and Usher too. I've been heard Usher was on some Michael Jackson for years. You've been heard Usher was on some Michael Jackson for years. What does that mean? But as I was saying, when the Jacksons first had their hit, whether it was ABC or I Want You Back, their first album, You know, they always had Michael younger than he really was. And when he first came out, I think he was at that age, like 11 and 12 at that time, even though they said he was or 9 or 10. And maybe, you know, he got really famous at that age, 11, 12. And because that was the beginning of a fantastic destruction. What do I mean by a fantastic destruction? Because he had such a fantastic life that destructed into what we are looking at in this particular picture. And maybe he felt his childhood. No, I can't say he would feel his childhood was lost at the time of his first album, because it was lost before we ever knew who the Jacksons were, because they were constantly rehearsing. They couldn't go out and play and do what the other kids did. And they were always doing shows and traveling, according to their father and them. And then when we found out about them, you know, then they were going on tours around the world by bus, by plane. Like I said, there's so many layers to Michael Jackson that we can spend years discussing one layer and then pick another layer and spend years discussing that. Okay, question. Scroll up. It says Michael Jackson and Jordan. Let me see Jordan. She is saying, Omar looked like Jordan. Really? I thought Jordan was a white boy. Joray? You mean Jordan? Well, can you scroll up in this picture? Okay. Michael Jackson and Jordan Chandler. Jackson and Jordy. Who is that? That's Jordan? Oh, red shirt. Holy shit. I thought Jordan was a white kid. Wow. Mm. Ugh. This is feeling really creepy. Okay, scroll down. This is going to be the end for real. Okay, scroll down. That's Jordan again. So for 10 years, because this thing with Jordan came out in 93. So we can go from Thriller, which came out in 83, I believe, or like the end of 82. So from, let's say 83, from 83 to 93 is 10 years that Michael Jackson been running around the world with these little boys, and nobody had nothing to say about it. Nobody thought it was strange. Nobody had a problem with it. But go ahead, next. Oh, that's Brett. Who is that dude? Is that Omar? As a grown-ass man? Well, Michael's dead. Who is that, Brett or Omar or Jordan? Which one? Oh, that's Brett. Mm. And even the little boy in the documentary that caused the second trial kind of looked like them. And even Blanket looks like them.
It was unique because of the discoloration, and we then obtained a search warrant to photograph Jackson to corroborate what the child has said.
This telling mark occurred when Michael Jackson actually lifted his penis, as if in an aroused state.
When things get aroused, you see the other side, and those were the descriptions.
When photographing Jackson's genitalia, it did corroborate. In other words, the boy saw Jackson naked. Does that mean Jackson molested a child? No, but it adds to the credibility of the child. He described Jackson's genitalia. It was unique because of the discoloration and
Wow. He saw the underside of his dick. We know what it means. I emailed you the links Out of Control, and Janet and their others knew. If we can see this, you know they knew. I can't believe this hangout went in this direction. Thank you, Curious. Anytime, Curious. I'm going to go through those links. I'll do another hangout and read through this stuff. What a night, girl. All of you folks who tuned in, may I say thank you for joining us. Appreciate you much. And Curious and I, we are out.